Coming to you from the Ground Zero Radio Studio Snow, this is the TeenTix Arts Podcast. You can call us TAP for short. We're all part of TeenTix programs, which work to emphasize youth voices in the arts. I'm Lily, a teen editor.
I'm Kyle, a newsroom writer for the TeenTix blog.
And I'm Paige, a member of the New Guard, the TeenTix Arts Leadership Program. In this episode, we'll talk about the exciting events that are featured this February. So Kyle, what's on tap today?
Today, we're going to cover a variety of arts events, from phone calls with strangers to art galleries on public transportation. But first off, let's talk about a new exhibit at the Fry.
Anastasia Renee's new exhibit at the Fry, Don't Be Absurd, Alice in Parts, was reviewed by the TeenTix newsroom and is still available to view. It centers around a character she created, Alice, and their struggle around gentrification. I really like that it takes an intersectional approach with activism and is interdisciplinary in art.
Checking out Don't Be Absurd could be a great way to celebrate Black History Month, which is this February.
Another great way to celebrate Black artists and pioneers this month is by checking out Iconic Black Women, a fascinating new exhibit at the Northwest African American Museum celebrating the accomplishments of Black women through Hiawatha's Dee's signature abstract style.
This event also shows a trend towards interactive art, which is also demonstrated in 1,000 Ways that On the Boards. 1,000 Ways isn't theater as one would normally think about it. It's a phone call with a complete and total stranger guided by an AI. This piece does a really great job of fostering connection with other audience members in a new and unique way, something we've definitely been missing since COVID shut down in-person theaters.
I attended this, and it was like the most intimate conversation I've had, which was odd since it was with a stranger and an AI bot. You can read more about this and my interview with the creators of this piece on the TeenTix blog later this month.
This series of interactive theater pieces is going to slowly move in person, which is an interesting choice, so I'm curious if other non-interactive pieces can take this approach somehow as well. Is this a new trend to be adapted for other genres?
Speaking of adaptations, Seattle Shakespeare Company is adapting Hamlet as a bilingual family drama, blending the writer's life story and the bard's classic tale into a narrative podcast. Adapting Shakespeare is not a new idea, but I'm curious how it'll work as a hybrid with a life story. It kind of brings up the age-old question of whether art imitates life or vice versa.
Podcasts are on the rise right now, so I'm excited to hear the arts get into that realm.
In addition, I think that Seattle Shakespeare has had a lot of success in the past with adapting Shakespeare in new ways. So, even though a podcast might be a little bit unconventional, I totally trust them to figure this out, especially with such a classic play like Hamlet.
Speaking of fiction/nonfiction hybrids, Pulitzer winner Lawrence Wright spoke at Seattle's Arts and Lectures about his new book, The End of October, a pandemic thriller. Now, pandemic-inspired art can be great because it is so relevant, but when is it so much so that it isn't fun anymore? What do you guys think?
That's a really great question, Kyle. I definitely think that there is a point where riffing on current events too much can make art less escapist, but that isn't always a bad thing. In addition, reading and writing are such physically solitary experiences, so I think for people who are big fans of literature, going to an event like this might be a nice way to connect with people who have similar interests.
On Kyle's question as well, I think there's also the point to be made that it is hard for artists to create work on any other subject, considering that the pandemic has taken over their lives in both a social and work aspect. This brings up that TeenTix has so many great arts partners that aren't what we commonly think of as art, like SAL and Town Hall.
The next event we want to talk about today is Set in Motion by the Henry Art Gallery. This event is a really novel way of adapting art to COVID-19 because the art is literally on public transport. I think that this piece does a really good job of emphasizing art as a citywide immersive experience, and it's a really great way to make art more accessible because it's literally on the sides of public buses.
I was interested by one of the pieces that is called We Will Dance Again. And I wonder if sentiments like that, based on personal belief, should be changed to something more based on embracing the present rather than looking forward to reopening, especially now that we've been in this situation for so long. Paige, do you have any extra events you want to talk about?
Of course! In other TeenTix Arts Partners news, the Mopop, Sam, Fry, Burke museums are all reopening. I'm super excited to use my TeenTix Pass to visit.
Although you can't use your TeenTix Pass, I'm still looking forward to the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die. Even though it may not have the artistic merit of some of the other events on this list, I'm excited to see Daniel Craig face off Freddie Mercury, or Rami Malek, or whatever.
That's all we've got for you today, but you can check out reviews of all of these events and more on the TeenTix blog. Thank you for tuning into the TeenTix Arts Podcast at Ground Zero Radio, where we listen to be heard. I'm Lily.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Paige. The music in this episode is written by the Steve Griggs Ensemble, produced through the Jack Straw Artist Support Program.
A big thank you to the Teen Programs Manager, Mariko Nagashima, and the Ground Zero Program Manager, Maso Yamada. You can find us on our blog at teentix.org/blog or on the TeenTix YouTube and SoundCloud channels. Join TeenTix again next month to find out what's on tap.
Thanks for listening.